very pleased to be able to be here today to support her. In fact, the first time I was in Kosovo was in 1971, so you know, a long time ago. Okay, I am a businesswoman. I'm a founder of a company that provides language services to industry. So we are a company, our turnover is about 2.6 million euros. We're now one of the largest companies in this sector in the United Kingdom. I myself am a daughter of an immigrant. My mother is Polish and my father was Scottish, so I have an unusual combination. So I can say that when I started in business, I went to study at Warsaw University in Poland, and my first degree was in art history. So I had no connections whatsoever in running a business. In fact, my thesis was about 18th century church pulpits in Central Europe, so nothing at all to do with business. And when I came back to the UK, I was what I think I could classify myself as being an entrepreneur out of necessity. I needed to earn an income, so I literally started from a table in my kitchen where we first started to provide services, language services into and from Polish, and then spread that out into other languages. I now run the company with my daughter. My son-in-law is the technical director, and we provide language services in a very high-tech, innovative way. So we use technology to provide solutions for our customers. Our customers are some of the largest exporting companies in the United Kingdom, and we provide not only the language services, but also the technology solutions to help those companies to find new markets. I've also been president of the British Chambers of Commerce. I was the first female president of the British Chambers of Commerce, and vice president of Eurochambre, which is the European Association of Chambers of Commerce. One of the areas that I have been particularly interested in is the support for female entrepreneurship. When I started in business, I can say honestly that the only other lady in the room was the lady that was providing the tea and the refreshments. I was the only woman in the room. Now, 30 years later, when my daughter now attends many events like this, I would say that about a third of the women that are in the room are now in business. So we have come a long, long way in our journey from this in these last 30 years. But still in the United Kingdom, it is twice as likely. In the United States, in America, it is twice as likely for a woman to set up in business than in the United Kingdom. So even although we've come a long way, we are still very, very much behind what is happening in the United States. And I've thought about why is this? Why is it that, you know, we still, although we have come a long way, we are still very much behind what is happening in the United States? It's because of legislation. In the United States, I'll give you an example. Women-owned companies have the statutory right, so it is by law that government bodies have to buy their services. 23% of the government budget, when they go out and buy things, has to be given to women-owned businesses. 23% of that budget has to be allocated to women-owned businesses. And that is a huge difference. For us, for example, ours is not a statutory right. It is not by law. So everything that we do, we have to bid in the same way as everyone else. So I think that is a hugely important factor, the legislative framework. As I said, I come from Scotland, and Scotland is a country that for many years has been debating its status within the United Kingdom, and you may have followed very recently in Scotland we had a referendum and we decided by a very small margin to stay within the United Kingdom. But many of the powers in Scotland have been devolved to the Scottish government, and we have a separate government, a separate education system, separate health system. And within that Scottish government, there is now a commitment which is framed within the, it is a framework agreement that women-owned businesses have developed and have gained the commitment of the Scottish government that the Scottish government will support them in their endeavours. So again, I'm giving you this as an example, is that there is a legal commitment by the Scottish government to support women's enterprise. Now, that is very different to the government of the United Kingdom, where there is no such agreement, where only women's organisations try to develop some sort of points of reference that they go to speak with government. But in Scotland, it is one of the few countries within Europe who have a framework now which gives them support. So I think the role of government and the commitment of government is hugely important. But not only government, because a lot of the women's initiatives, the Women in Business initiatives, have come from bottom up. That means that women in business have got together and are helping themselves to raise awareness of their activities. And so you have, and this perhaps is more prevalent in England rather than Scotland, so very much a bottom-up approach. So they work together, they cooperate together, different companies have different skills to ensure that they raise awareness about their activities. So you have a combination. You have the commitment from government on one hand, and on the other hand, a bottom-up approach where women in business are helping themselves. And we see progress. There are a number of initiatives, and I'll finish in a moment. Should I be finishing now? Okay, no, I'll just say, I just would like to mention a few initiatives that, as a result of both the national approach and the bottom-up approach, what has been successful in the United Kingdom. The first one is mentoring and networking. We find, and all research has shown, that men usually have much better networking possibilities than women. They have had contacts for many years. In the United Kingdom, men play golf, and they meet and discuss and arrange contracts and finalize things when they're playing golf. Women don't play golf. Some women in Scotland, but most women don't play golf. So they don't have, and these are not just role models of fabulously successful women. These are role models of women in every town that have got a business, that have been successful. That is hugely important. The other one is access to finance. Research has shown that women find it very difficult to access finance to be able to start business. And also what research has shown is that it is the networks, the family, the friends, the informal sources that women go for loans to start their business. And very often women require a lot less. They don't want to grow hugely, they have families, they have other commitments. So it is the small amounts of money that are often needed to get a business going. And the other thing, and the last thing I will say, is it is important that programs designed to support business are adapted to suit the specific needs of women. I believe, and when I started in business over the years, I could see that women have specific issues that men don't have. I mentioned network, I mentioned family responsibilities, I mentioned access to finance. These are all aspects which are different to men starting off in business. And in my view, and this is what we lobby for, is that the programs designed to support entrepreneurs, that there is a better understanding of the needs of women. And last point I wanted to make, and I'm sorry and I promise I will stop, the last point I'd like to make is it is important to have the data, because one of the things that we have found is there isn't data. We don't know in the United Kingdom still how many businesses are actually run by women, how many businesses are perhaps registered by husbands but run by women, or the other way around. And we need to understand that. So there is a commitment, for example, from the Scottish government, not from the British government, but from the Scottish government, that they will try to ensure that that data is available. Because when you have data and information, you have the strength and the power to do something. And that's all. Thank you very much. Thank you.